Welcome to Hot Topics. I'm your host, Nina Simone, and today I am joined by Glenda, Aaron, and Otis. Is that what we're addressing everybody else?
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Can I be Don A, please?
John A. John A on the purple mic for anybody who doesn't know. John A. A.K.A. Chef Aaron. Otis, are you happy with your...
I'm all right with
Don O, innit?
Top G. I want to call you Top G. I want to call you Top G. Yeah, so today, like I said, we're going to chop up what it means modern dating, society, being a man and a woman, and sharing our views to hopefully reach some kind of middle ground. Cool. So, I'm Nina. I'm totally single. I'm trying not to be, but it's very difficult in the current climate. I'm obviously a single mum, so my dating journey or what it means to me to present as a woman in society has completely changed since I had a son, because I think there's a huge stigma attached to single mums, and it's like we're doing you a favour by being around. Do you know?
Who a favour?
Just delve into that a bit more, because obviously I don't understand.
I would do this. Do you know what? I commented on something on Facebook and somebody put out a post and I commented on it, and I think it kind of encapsulates what I'm trying to say here. Okay. So let me find it, and then you'll understand what I mean about the stigma of parents. Oh, here he is. Trace Andre Leahong.
Called out as well.
I know you, but you're on my Facebook, and I want to at you.
Geez.
So here it is.
Remind us not to get into the debate with Nina on Insta.
Yeah.
You get atted on a podcast. No, I don't even know.
The receipts are out.
The picture is not of him.
Watching his baby,
but it says, Jared, 37, liked you. Do not waste my time. Trigger warning. Let me guess, you're 30 with 2 to 3 kids from different baby dads who are your world. You've had your fun now and you want a real man to settle down with and take care of you because you let some loser nut in you. Not my problem. I'm 6'3", athletic, no kids, good job, own place, etc. What do you bring to the table? The answer is some other mofo's kids, debt or drama, kick rocks. Don't ask me about the Kevin Samuel picture. Oh, my Lord of mercy.
So what did you comment?
I commented.
Let's hear it. Let's see. What did you say?
So I said, Trace Andre Leahong, you don't think it's aimed at... Okay, so someone commented saying he doesn't need to bash single mothers. He just needs to ask for a woman with no kids. Mm-hmm. And then the guy replied, I don't think it's aimed at single mothers in general. It's a very specific type that ask for everything, bring nothing, and come with a lot of baggage and problems. I just find the post humorous. So I said, you don't think it's aimed at single mothers? Can you read, hun? Eye emoji. Just because you let some loser nut in you, some women have children with men who have now passed away. Mm-hmm. Others decide they will leave abusive relationships for the safety of their children. There's lots of reasons why a woman will end up raising her child alone because, besides what is stated in this misogynistic post, but that's how this broken Western society treat women with child. It's a disgrace, in my opinion. In the defense of all those women with baggage, stay away from losers who hold these views and think they're doing you a favour having access to you, your home, or your children. Stay safe, ladies. It's fucking wild out there.
Okay, so... Wow.
Do you want to hear the response of the guy?
No, I don't need to. One sec. No, I don't need to. Do you know what? I don't need to hear it. Do you know what? Let's say you get 10 single mothers in a room, right? Mm-hmm. Out of those 10 single mothers, how many of them are widowers?
Probably...
On average, using statistics.
Probably 10 to 20%.
So you're talking 1 in 10 at most.
Yes.
I doubt even that.
That's what I'm saying, and that is very rare. Yeah. That is very rare. So generally speaking, what do you think the issue is that causes single women to be single mothers? Because if it's only 10% widowing, you can't generalise that because it's...
No. What's the question? I think it's not even about whether there's loads of single mums out there or not.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying...
It's about the value that is placed on a woman because she has a child. I think it's seen as a devaluing trait of a woman if she has a child. Why? I'd like to explore that a little bit because I think I'm now in a position where, like I said, I've started dating and it's very clear. Some guys want to step up and play that role and be the stepdad and show up for your child as well. Mm-hmm. Other guys, it's like, I want to entertain you as a woman, but don't talk to me about your kid, which it's like, okay, well, I can't be that. I can't do that. and I can't prioritize you because my main priority is my son. So
it's not just that though. I think it's also to do with, it's not about him being your main priority. It's also about him not being able to fully have control over plans that you used to do together. Let's say you get with a guy, right? And he wants to plan to take you to Ibiza for a weekend, let's just say. You have to then make arrangements to make that happen, right?
Yeah, but so does everybody.
Yeah, granted, but then there's one less part of the equation for people who don't have kids.
Right.
So let's say he wants to take you on holiday, and let's say you've planned for baby father to take the child for the weekend. Baby father then turns around and cancels his plans. He's now hindered your plans with another man.
Right.
And now this other man has to deal with that, and he has to be okay with that. And that's hard to be okay with. That's another man dictating your relationship.
There's no need for him to post stuff like if that's.
I'm not talking about this post. I'm talking about
just in general.
I'm talking about how women are seen when they've got a child. It's nothing to do with this guy's post. This is why we didn't need to hear his reply.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like if that is your viewpoint, there's no need to kind of delve into your reasons as to why, which is what this guy has done. But it's just like, make that clear from the beginning. Like, everyone has their own preferences, which is fine. But to devalue a woman who has gone through
could say that about people who post men ain't shit. You could say that about all these women who post that stuff, but we ain't here talking about what people are posting. We're talking about how women are viewed socially with child. If we were to go through Twitter and Instagram and look at how many posts there are against men and go, well, there's no need for her to say that. She should just keep her problems private, keep her opinion to herself. Then we'd just be going around in circles about things that people are posting online. Yeah,
but I feel like what's posted online is a projection of the beliefs that are built within society. So it helps you to start somewhere and look at.
I think that's a bigger problem, like people just giving their opinion too much, especially... in a sense, like, it's not like if he doesn't want that, that's sweet, but you don't have to post that on Facebook.
Exactly.
Everyone, because there is backlash. Certain people are gonna, and there are gonna be baby mums out there that are gonna take offence.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? So, obviously, I just think he's way too opinionated on the matter.
It sounds like he's gone through some sort of traumatic experience where he's lashing out at mums.
He did say that he had.
Well, there you go then. Like, you can see that he's not fully healed, and maybe he's attracting women that have problems, whether they've got children or not. So he's got to look at himself.
I feel like we keep talking about this specific post.
Yeah, but that was shared a lot of times, and I commented I commented on it in multiple.
But why don't we address the bigger issue?
Which is what?
Which is how women are being seen, and then also address how men are being seen.
Okay.
Because if we just talk about one specific post, we're going to reach a conclusion that he shouldn't have posted it, and then we're finished. But ultimately, what I'm saying is, if you look at 10 women who all have kids and they're all single. Out of all of them, how many would be widowers? It's a minimal amount, which means, generally speaking, the question I've got is, what causes women to be single mothers?
Okay, I can answer that. The only person in this room that could really contribute to that is me. The reason I became a single mum is because when you are building a human, you are creating a movie for the entirety of their life that you are here on this earth. So everything that goes into their consciousness, their belief system, is presenting the movie that becomes life for them. Yeah. You're building their belief system and what they believe about life. So when I became pregnant, I noticed that I just had realizations about my partner. And I think whether that was to do with the fact that I'd come off the pill and my hormones were louder, my hormones were more natural. There is scientific evidence that you're going to choose a partner differently when you're on the pill to when you're not. So the pill's no longer. I became pregnant quickly once I came off the pill. And I realised, like, I'm already pregnant by this point, but I realised actually me and my partner had very different views about how to raise a child and what goes into it and the sacrifices we're willing to make, because you can talk a big talk about, I don't want to live in this country, I don't want to be in this system, but when it comes to doing it, when it comes to homeschooling or unschooling or leaving the country and going back to your roots and setting up life elsewhere, it takes a bunch of balls to do that, and I'm ready to do that. I've done that before, but having a child with somebody who is really enslaved in the system, presents an issue for someone like me who is ready to take risk and not live by the norm, not do the mainstream, but I can't then make these decisions on my own because I'm being reported to the police, I'm being reported to social services, I'm being made to look like a bad mum because I'm unschooling my son, and I've got the police knocking on my door at 10:30 p.m. to do a welfare check because my son ain't going to school, even though I've elected him as homeschooling. So for me, the reason I decided to become a single mum is because my views with my ex were so different. I knew that we would never see eye to eye, and the way that that was being dealt with in the real world is animosity, shouting, abusive exchanges in front of my little baby who was always on my breast, in my arms, close to me, and therefore he's now seeing trauma. And I've come from a background that is quite laced with trauma, i.e. the people in my family won't think anything about screaming expletives to each other, you fucking knob, you slag, this and that, and putting hands on each other. But when I was pregnant, I noticed, actually, I can't stay in them spaces. My stomach started tightening, and it was like my son inside me was like, I had to leave. I would say, you know what, I've got to go because he's saying so, and I'd leave. And I think having that experience while I was pregnant then led into me changing my boundaries when I became a mum, because I've got to protect him from that trauma. I don't want to normalise it because it's been normalised, and then it's internalised in the person, and I've had that inside me, and I don't want that to be a repeated cycle.
To add on that though, when you're dating someone, like as women, we can't just think, and as men as well, but more so as women because we carry the children. When we date at first, we're not thinking about having babies and stuff like that. So we're genuinely looking for someone that's good for us. But then it changes over time, and you start, obviously, if you start planning to have children with someone, or you fall pregnant with someone, you're not thinking about what you need and what you want anymore. You then have to consider what is it that you want your children to learn, because they cannot choose who their parents are.
Right.
So you've got to make the best choice for them, and that man that you met or that woman that you met at the beginning might not be that the best person for your child, and it's only there and then that you make that decision, because no one can read the future. You don't know that person. Everyone changes every day. You get, you face different challenges. You face different. You face different battles, and it changes you as a person. That person that you met might be the love of your life, and then 10 years down the line, they're not that person anymore. Life's hard.
Because sometimes when you first meet somebody, I feel like we put our best foot forward.
Exactly.
Oh, that's what I've done in the past. But now I've learned, actually, I'm going to let you know that my ex can be problematic because it affects me, and therefore it's going to affect the person I'm dating. I have to be transparent because if I don't build a foundation based on honesty, as time goes on, the mask's going to start dropping. Exactly. And he's going to be like, fuck.
I'd say with men, there's a bigger problem with men getting with women more because of the baby father than because of the kids.
Right.
So
it's the same with the women, though.
So listen to this, though. Same way you don't want to be raising your kid with that man anymore, and that's why you split off, for example, the relationship didn't work out. Same way you don't want to be in that energy and in that environment. Why would you then want to get with someone and expect them to want to be in that energy and that environment? Because no matter what, as a baby father, he's always going to be a part of your life and your child's life in some sort of capacity.
Because they're picking you, like, that's one thing. Obviously, guys do this, innit? They seem to think they can get with a woman and think that, oh yeah, your kid, and you're taking on the woman, you're taking on the child too.
Because part of who she is,
that's her life.
Part of who she is.
Her main being for being on this earth is to raise.
And the truth of it, the truth of the matter is, if the child is a part of who the woman is, it's also a part of who the father is. So they're tied in now. So if you're expecting a man to step in, he's got to be prepared to deal with two more people as well,
right?
To a certain capacity. Now
it.
he has to actually acknowledge that from the beginning and accept that, and that's a very tough pill to swallow, because a lot of people don't want to do that.
No.
It's not that. No. It's, for example, if I get with a girl, I want to be in a relationship with that girl. I don't want to be in a relationship with that girl and her ex and her baggage and whatever and her entire family. It's me and her. That's it.
Yeah.
And this is where, do you know what's pretty challenging? Like, I ain't religious, don't get me wrong, but when you look at society from back in the day, everything was built around religion. People weren't having kids outside of wedlock because they would be bastards and stuff like this. Now, if you look at the problems that's now caused, people have... Look, ultimately, there's pros and cons. There's marriages that didn't work out back then, and there was a lot of domestic abuse back then. Don't get me wrong, but you had a woman who would follow the man to the grave, literally.
Yeah, like the values.
Till death do them part. Which means, I
just think we had less options.
We'll touch on that in a sec. But which means ultimately, if Neenagh was born 600 years ago, 500 years ago, 400 years ago, she couldn't then turn around and say, do you know what, I don't like this guy, the way he's living his life, this and that. She's locked in and she has to follow that route. So in a way, you're kind of lucky that you're living in today's society. You can make 100%. The decision to be independent and I want this for my child, I want this for my life.
I would rather have stayed in the situation that I was in. But I think having the choice now allows me to be like, actually, no, that violates my belief system and my thoughts are valid enough and I have a reason. I would never have stepped out of a relationship and chose to be on my own unless I thought it was detrimental to my son. So I've had to sacrifice my life, really, because now I've put myself, I'm out there, I'm on my arse, like, I'm on my own. I've had to, okay, so the bills doubled. The stress level doubled. When I'm cooking dinner, my son's on his own while I'm having to make dinner. It was much easier when he was occupied and I'm cooking. Yeah. It was much easier to keep the house, keep the food on the table and all of that when there was two of us. But I just felt like if that meant my son was going to witness domestic abuse, actually that's abusive to him as well.
And then it didn't. The cycle repeats itself. And
he thinks that's okay. Yeah. And I don't want him to, I want him to love his woman in a way that I wasn't being loved, so I can't continue to show him that as an example. And I think what I've noticed with my son is that he will gravitate towards men or he won't. You've seen him. We went on it. We did a rounders event, didn't we? We did. And he gravitated towards you, but there was another person that day who left early. Chef Alizé. He tried to hug me. My son went over, like,
he did not like that.
He said, get away from my woman.
Your son's got a good judge of character.
Sorry, Chef Alizé.
It was a sixth sense.
Literally, he didn't like it. Any interaction.
But can I ask you something? So you said along the lines of, I don't know word for word, but along the lines of, you want to teach your son how to love women. Love in general.
Just in general.
And do you know what? It touches on a point of something that I've seen recently. It's like all of our lives as men, we get taught how to love women, how to treat women, you get. Do you?
I was never raised. Obviously, my mum was kind of a feminist, so she kind of pushed towards like the way of treating women. Women should always be treated. But as far as being shown how to really treat a woman, I never even saw it in my family. I don't.
But the point. Know. But check this.
So you're saying people get educated in school.
So let me finish what I'm saying fully. It's not in school. Let me finish what I'm saying fully, and then we'll touch on what you just said. Your entire life, for example, with my sisters, I get taught how to treat them, how to be with my sisters, how to protect my sisters, how to be around women in general, right? It's not in particularly how to love and court and marry, and there's no step-by-step guidebook for that, but there's a certain social standard around how women should be treated. It's taboo to hit a woman, for example. It's taboo to shout and scream in a woman's face, for example. Just little things
Unless you grew up in certain houses.
No. Hear me out. But generally speaking, it's frowned upon. No, but it's frowned upon. In
a Western society.
But we are in the West. So generally speaking, let me finish. Now, generally speaking, it is frowned upon to treat women a certain way. And women are also raised to expect a certain level of respect. Don't let a guy treat you like this. Don't let him speak to you like this. Don't let a guy hit you. And this is what drives a lot of decisions in relationships, because it's, right, he weren't treating me right and he weren't treating her right, X, Y, and Z. But one thing I've never seen is, are we taught how men should be treated? How men should be treated growing up? Are there do's and don'ts for men? Are there do's and don'ts for men growing up? Because the same way it's frowned upon to lay hands on a woman, to shout in a woman's face, it's not as much frowned upon. Is there certain boundaries there that are very, very commonly known?
The template was
not
never
really.
there.
I just think the template's not there.
The template's not there.
Like, I had a case on me Yeah, I'd had a lot of harassment. I'd had a lot of abuse. There'd been a lot of situations where there'd been physical altercations. I'd been chased. I'd been, harassed and followed, and people were like stalking me. And all of those instances, I'm told to report them, because that's not the standard. But then when it came to me, for example, I had my phone taken off me by said person, and they wouldn't give it back. I had somewhere to be. I couldn't contact anyone, but I called the police and said, look, I'm going to fucking follow this person and chase them down until I get my property back. The police were like, don't do that. You can't do that. You're going to get yourself in trouble. I went to the property trying to get my property back, and I've blocked the person in. And again, that's not something I'm proud of. I don't want to be pushed to that point, and nobody expects that of a woman. But it's like, what am I supposed to do? Sit there in silence, get my shit taken off me, and get badded up while someone's got my phone? Because if that was me and I took someone else's phone, I feel like there's a double standard on both sides.
I don't see how that correlates to what I said, though.
Go on, repeat the question.
It was a point. It was more of, in society, we are raised to treat women with a certain standard, but there's no set standard for how we're raised to treat men.
Yeah, but I think as a woman, it's actually installed in you. Actually, we are accommodating.
So one sec, let me just stop you there. So your reply to that is women have it already systematically built into them naturally.
We're kind of raised to please men. I feel like our generation.
I won't say raised, but I'd say it's almost built into it's the old school value in it of women.
You need to get close to the mic, brother.
Yeah, the old school way of women look after the household type thing. They accommodate for men.
Yeah, I do believe that women do that naturally.
And then men go out and, in a sense, we're expected to take on the world and not really moan about it. In a sense, that's why there's no template for men, because crack on.
Nobody
go to
cares,
work. No one
cares.
cares.
But this is my point, and this is where a lot of decisions are made in relationships, because there is no foundation for how to treat your counterpart.
Yeah.
Whereas men should be really truly treating women a certain way because they've been told. It's down to what the household is and what society they grew up in, what culture they grew up in.
Don't you think that all of those things about keeping the home, and I just feel like that is how you're supposed to treat a man? Do you know what I mean? Like, certain things as in cooking, keeping the house nice, accommodating. What would you say men are taught about how to treat a woman?
It's a societal thing. So I'm talking about things way before the relationship. I'm talking about when I'm in school. When I'm in school, when there's peers the same age as me who are female and whatnot, there's things you do and there's do's and don'ts.
I had very conflicting, obviously. My mum being from, I don't know, a more white Irish background. She's always been like, any dramas at school, any girls ever speak to us, just treat them nicely, don't ever hit a girl. My dad would tell me, yo, man, woman, a child, if someone hit them back.
It's not just about, but this is the thing. Every time we speak about these things, it goes straight to confrontational environments and subjects.
But that's where you build it from.
No,
as a kid.
I understand where you.
Let's look at love. Not confrontation.
Yeah, I understand where you're coming from.
Let's look at love, not confrontation. Now, I grew up always believing that women and children are loved unconditionally in this world.
Yeah.
And there's nothing that anyone else can do to prove that wrong. Men are loved under condition. Let's say, for example, well, the thing is, we're here to dispute the differences, isn't it? But what I'm trying to say is, every time we're on this topic, we're talking about, if a girl's in your face, this and that. That's not the point I'm talking about. I'm talking about a normal living environment, like a normal situation where it's not toxic, you're not at each other's throats, you're just in the company of females and you're in the company of males, and you're in school and you're in college or you're at work. There's certain things you don't do, and there's certain things that you do. To say, for example, amongst men, you'll do certain things, like, for example, you'll be in the changing rooms and you'll kick one of the lads. It's out of order to do that to a female because it's her dignity and her pride and her privacy is more valued than a male's.
I understand where you're coming from, because it's kind of like,
so there's no
taught, like, open the doors for ladies. Where's that kind of
the lady
expectation for women to do that for men? Because there's not. I understand.
It's not. It doesn't have to be the same. It just has to be. Is there a set standard at all?
Yeah,
I feel like we're in a very liquid society right now because everyone's experience is so individual. We've got our phones, and that's how we perceive life. At the end of the day, day, there's a lot of incoming, and all the algorithms are giving us shit. When I was breaking up with my ex, I felt like the algorithms were saying, finish him. Done. It was like, if he's treating you this way, fuck him. And really, I was like, I really wanted to work on it. I was trying to give it so much energy. But I think for me, the point where I was like, you know what? No. I said to him, let's go to therapy together. If we can't go to therapy and deal with this in a managed environment, then I can't do it. And he said, no, you need therapy, not me. And I was like, right, all right. That's all the answer I needed. But if he would have come to therapy with me, I wanted to work through it. I didn't want to be a single mum. But I think in terms of how to treat a man, for me, I think it's, okay, giving him the option. If I'm feeling uncomfortable about something, I want to have a conversation with him. And we should be able to have that open line of balance and communication and equality. And if he's not receiving that in a way where I'm getting attacked or I'm being name called, I just think there's an imbalance.
That has nothing to do with gender. That's just two adults working out how to solve a problem.
But
yeah, 100%.
Going back to your point as to like, obviously men are taught like to treat women a certain way or do things when you see a woman kind of thing, like open the door, like, I don't know, make sure if you see like a girl's cold, like, give her your jacket and things
the old trick from like 100 years ago, always carry a napkin in case a woman cries.
Yeah.
Chivalry.
Yeah.
Chivalry.
I suppose
the
only way
what's the
I
female
can kind
version
of
of chivalry?
Basically.
What's the female version of chivalry?
I feel
Has it ever existed? Is there even a word for it?
I think it just comes from feel like I would naturally do stuff like that for someone I care about.
No, because the counterpart for wife and husband is the same thing.
No, do you know what? I think it's just being considerate. I've noticed that women are just naturally considerate, so we think about things like that before.
That's false.
Nah,
I don't
bro,
know, like,
that's false.
Like,
it's not. It's not. We can't help
and it can
that.
come from both
You're telling me
sides.
no woman in this world is selfish?
Every
No, I'm not
woman,
saying that. I'm not
all
saying
women
that. I'm not
have to
saying
be.
that.
That's false. You can't say women are considerate.
Women
That's very
are
false.
generally considerate.
Okay, if you want to
whether they
generalize,
choose
yes,
to apply
possibly.
those considerations are a different story.
But the question is still
Whether
in the
they're
air.
considering your situation or their own.
The question is still in the air. What is the female version of chivalry?
It's more about thoughtfulness. I feel like chivalry is about being thoughtful and accommodating for somebody.
As men, you don't get gifts and you don't get compliments.
Exactly. So is that not chivalry?
That's what's nice, though.
But do
I'd
you know?
say it's more of the thoughtful.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think that's
thoughtfulness.
kindness. When does the borderline of kindness and chivalry change? Like, for example, I think my personal understanding of chivalry is acts throughout the day which are so common they go unnoticed. You know, like for example, when Glenda mentioned before, when you're picking up the girl, you get out of the car, you open the door, and that's chivalrous.
Can I just say sometimes that's not happened?
No, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying the point I'm making.
No.
The point I'm making isn't that it
like
happens
it, though.
24/7. That's not the point I'm trying to make. The point I'm making is that buying someone a gift, a man can do that just as much as a woman can do that.
Yeah, but it's not common for women to...
And even the thought... And exactly, it's not common for women to do it. Do you know why it's not common for women to do it? Because women haven't been shown how to give back love in terms of for men. Do you know what I'm saying? It's very, very... There's a grey area there.
Chivalry for men. What do you believe chivalry for men is? Like...
Towards men or what men do?
Like, would you... If a female did something for you and it's like, okay, I believe that this is... chivalrous. I don't know what the terminology is, but what would you say? What would you call chivalry coming from a female? I'm saying, if there is even a word for that.
I don't think it comes in the form of gifts and a thoughtful process for gifts. I think that can be a very, very nice gesture, but I don't think it's chivalrous.
I think for men, just a feeling of feeling appreciated.
Do you know what chivalry is for a man?
Check this. That's all men want.
Do you know what chivalry is for a man? Let's say you're in a relationship with a girl, right?
Yeah.
And you're inviting your boys round to watch some football at your house, and she's cooked, but she's not only cooked for you, she's cooked for all the mandem. She didn't have to do that. That's chivalry. She didn't have to do that, and she's not given or taken anything more or less. Do you know why? Do you know why it is? Do you know why that is? Because when your boys come round, they'll see what your wife has done or your girl has done, and they'll be like, you know what, bro? She's a good girl, you know. She's a keeper, and that's
listen.
Listen. But it's simple things of that nature. But listen, and do you know how that feels when you're with a girl and your friends turn around and say, bro, she's a keeper, you know. She's a good girl. That's for me a form of feminine chivalry. That's it. It doesn't have to be in the household. It doesn't have to be anywhere. It just if she performs an act in which
you make me look better to my friends.
Well, yeah, because
makes me feel better
that's how men work, bro. Egotistical creatures.
Men are driven by ego.
Like for example, how many times have you been with a girl and you've been put off because your boys have said, nah, she's X, Y, and Z, she's this and that, I know this, I know that. It puts you off. But if your boys sit there and say, bro, she's a keeper, she's good because she's like this, and bro, you're never gonna find another girl that does that for you. Them kind of moments, if a girl can create those kind of moments for you, that's female chivalry.
Yeah.
But if you look at the definition,
that's nothing to do with gifts.
The definition is based off the way that a man, it says, a chivalrous man is polite, honest, fair, and kind towards women.
This is my point, Glenda. So my question was, what's the female version of it?
Yeah. Well,
and there isn't one. That's my point.
Are the ideas of expectations of men and women balanced, or would you say there's more expectations on a guy?
Oh, more is expected from men than is from women.
Absolutely.
I'll actively say that. Like,
I agree.
You've got to approach the girl. You got to write the theme tune, sing the theme tune.
Gotta keep it interesting, baby.
Yeah, you got to approach the girl. You got to come up with the date ideas. You've also got to
not necessarily because
You've also but initially yes. You've also got to be prepared to pay for her and whatever like she wants to do, whatever. You've got to be prepared to woo her. You got to have a little bit about you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas a woman, she just sits back and enjoys the ride, man, and then she decides yes or no in the end.
well, if that's the life she's living in it, in a sense.
Well, she just decides yes or no. Like, am I going to kiss him or not? Do you know what I mean? That's it. Simple. She could get a guy walking right up to the front door and still not kiss him.
Yeah.
And man's done all of that stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and is he expecting something?
No, it's just not about expectations. It's just saying like that's her biggest quandary of the night.